Alright, let's go over how to use your architect scale. There's multiple scales that you could use. We're just going to focus on the three primary. So we're going to start with the architect scale. The architect scale is based on the foot and inches concept. So for every foot, there's 12 inches. So think of it as based upon essentially like the 12s as your unit base. Most commonly used is the quarter inch. Quarter inch equals a foot. Why do we have this? Well, if you're drawing a house plan, obviously 20 feet will not fit if you draw it full scale on a piece of paper. So you use the quarter inch scale. If you're smart enough to realize that, we use the quarter inch scale. If quarter inch equals a foot, we can take the scale here, find that size where it says quarter inch equals a foot, try to get to come into focus a little bit better. Come on. Focus. Dang your HUD. There it goes. And now you can see the quarter inch equals a foot. So now, instead of having to do math and figure everything out, I can look and go 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot, so forth. Now, because there are 12 inches in a foot, everything past the 0 back represents those inches. So if I was measuring to here, it would be 1 foot, let's say 1 foot 3 inches. I'm going back to here, it would be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's how it works on it. Always is going to be based upon foot and inches. It's always going to be 12 inches. So if I did a measurement, it could be 4 foot, and then it would be 1 inch. So it's different things. Now, if we're using a different scale, just for an example, let's use the 1/8 inch, because that's the next most commonly used one. It's still based on those 12 parts, those inches. Except for now, from here to here, that represents a foot, that it represents those 12 inches. So now each one of those lines becomes 2 inches. So if I was measuring here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, so forth. Let's try another one, not commonly used, but it could be used. Here's your 1.5. And there's quite a few of them on here. And we're going to practice getting a couple of measurements here in just a second. Come here, better. Focus, there we go. So now on this one, it's 1.5. So from here to here is 12 inches. So you're looking, okay, 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this would be, that's 1, that would be a quarter, half, 7 has full, 1. And it just goes that way. So from here to here is now 1 foot, and then you can go back to your inches and so forth. So the hardest part for this one is to remember 12 inches in a foot. This is your 0. You measure backwards if we're trying to find a specific inches. So let's actually practice finding a couple of measurements here. And I'm going to use this just for an example. And here we go. Alright, so let's find measurement O. I'm going to take my dividers. So I can get my measurement, because I'm going to want to be able to move this around on my different sizes of scales here. So, measurement O. Measurement O on the quarter inch scale. So here's my quarter inch scale. So I can get that out of the way. Alright, so we have our divider where we've marked the measurement for O. And we're going to go to the quarter inch scale. Come on, get back into focus. Come on. And I'm going to start by putting one end of the dividers on the 0 and trying to see how many feet is it to start with. So I'm looking at it and I can see that it's 8, 9. So the end of my divider here on the end falls somewhere between the 9 and the 10 foot mark, correct? Let's try to get a little better focus. Doesn't want to focus too well. Maybe if I pull it down a little bit better. Okay, that's a little easier to read. So see how it falls in between the 9 and the 10? Because this is 8, 9, 10. So it's 9 feet something. So I need to find out 9 feet how many inches. 9 feet. And then I pay attention to where does it fall on the end here. And if I'm looking at it, it's right at 9 feet, 3 inches. It's in that quarter inch mark. Try to get it. Try to show you there. So notice one end's on the 9, one's on the 3. Let's take this same measurement and let's go do it on, let's try the 3. In this case, if you needed to draw something really big, so we have the 3. So 3 is equal to a foot. So again, I put my start on the 0. And I'm trying to find where it falls. Well, it doesn't quite hit the 1, because on the 3, this is 0, 1, 2, so forth. So this one is actually 0 feet. So I'm going to put it back here, 0. 9, so I know that would be, that's 3, 6, 9, so that means that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so forth. So I'm looking at this and I go, well, I know it's 0 feet, 9 inches something. Well, it's not quite. So you're looking at 0 feet. That would be a half. That would be a fourth. So that would be 3/8. 9 and 3/8. So it's those kind of different things we have to look at. Let's look at it here on the 3/8 inch guide. Let's do the 3/4. Same measurement. 3/4 scale. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so far. So 0, 1, 2. If I'm doing it from the 3/8, 0, 1, 2. So it just depends on what side we're using. So we're going to use it here on the 3/4 side. Put it on the 0. Go to here and measure my measurements. So what are we dealing with? Well, I can look and see that it's slightly past the 3, so it's going to be 3 feet something. So 3 feet, how many inches? So this is 12 inches, so this would be 6, this would be 3, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so forth. So 3 feet, not quite 6, 3, 2, 1, okay, yeah. 3 feet, 1.5 inches. So you're just kind of looking through it and going through. Now, the key thing to remember when you're writing down your measurements, when you're dealing with architect skill, everything's in feet and inches. So if you're writing that down, it would be 3 feet, 3 inches, or 10 feet. Maybe it's 1 3/8 of an inch. Make sure you're using your neat, nice lettering, and make sure you're using your foot and your inch symbols. Quotation marks and apostrophe, those are what we always use. I will do one last quick one for you. Let's just do one real quick experiment here. I'm going to use the 1/8 inch scale and I want to find out what's the diameter of this circle here. Take my divider, get that diameter of it. So I've got my measurement, right? Let's go to the 1/4 inch scale, since it's the most commonly used one. Line it up on the 0, and let's see. Well, I see that it falls somewhere between the 4 and the 5, so I know it's going to be 4 feet. 4 feet. Not quite 6. 4 feet, 5 inches. Try to get a little closer so you can see if it won't go too badly out of focus there. So not quite on 6 mark, so it's 4 feet, 5 inches. Come here. I love this autofocus. So 4 feet, 5 inches. So I would write down, if I was doing this in inches, I would write down diameter. Alright, good luck and practice finding measurements using the architect scale. Remember, everything's built based on that foot in inches. So even here, from here to here on this one of the 3, that's a foot. And it's going to be 12 inches in that foot. Same thing with this part. That's a foot. There's going to be 12 inches in that part. Even this little part right here, each one of those lines, this represents a foot. So each one of those lines is 2 inches. Remember that. An architect scale does have a regular plain old inch if you need it. And you know you're doing the architect scale because it says architect, obviously, and it has the 16 here next to it. The 16 is the one that's the regular inches. This is just to let you know that it's based on 16 parts because a traditional inch has 16 parts. So when you're dealing that one, and if you need to do inches, you'll know. And if you just pay close attention to what's on the end, it'll give you a hint and tell you what you're using. And yes, if you wanted to, you can take that scale and lay it down on the measurement and find it. But for demonstration purposes, so you can actually read it, it's much easier if I go find it with the divider and put it on here so I can tilt the scale so you can see it better. You can do both. Both is acceptable. Just be careful if you're laying your scale flat down that you're keeping it lined up straight. You haven't accidentally like cockeyed it a little bit. I don't know how else to say explain it. Make sure you're keeping it nice and horizontal and lined up with the dimension, because otherwise, if you see how if you're got it off, you can throw those measurements off pretty quickly. So just pay attention, make sure you're keeping it nice and straight. All right, good luck. If you got any questions about how to read the architect scale, please see me in lab.